morning and welcome to the Thursday edition of your number one breakfast show on television inside Nigeria. It's featuring on Leadership Television. My name, as usual, is Winifred Kwebo, and with me in the studio is my Thursday guest who was unavoidably absent last week. It's good to have him back now in the studio. Olamide Adefolari. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. And an apology to our viewers that were expecting me to be around. It was just heavy traffic in Abuja last week.
Can imagine. Well, welcome back once again. He's a political analyst and also a public affairs analyst, or a political scientist. Yes, you can see we have papers for review and discussion. This morning is lying on our table, and we are flagging up with Nigeria's most influential newspaper, Leadership. Leadership is still leading on this developing story on National Assembly leadership, and so is other papers as well. As you can see, every paper has the same NAS leadership imbroglio on their cover this Thursday, May 11, 2023. Let's see how leadership couches its leading story. 10th NAS leadership, Tinubu in secret talks with opposition members elect. 10th National Assembly leadership, Tinubu in secret talks with opposition members elect. Don't expect us to be loyal if Zoni formula stands, Gadi. Expect repeat of 2015, Wase, veteran won. I won't quit race for Senate President, Izuna so vows. Allow transparent process, says Joel Onowako. I'll take leadership leading story once again. 10th National Assembly leadership, Tinubu in secret talks with opposition members elect. Don't expect us to be loyal if zoning formula stands, Gadi. Expect repeat of 2015, Wase, veteran won. I won't quit race for Senate President, Izuna so vows. Allow transparent process, says Joel Onowako. That's the leading story. And of course, just below the leading story, we have pictures of aspirants for that position. Akpabio, Izuna Sokalu, Yari, Abbas, Gadi, Wase, and Veteran. These are candidates or members elect that are interested in these leadership positions. But before we talk on the leading story, let's see what leadership has on with other stories. Insecurity worsening in Northwest, DSS Air Rufai. Insecurity worsening in Northwest, DSS Air Rufai. Above that, we have 77 trillion naira debt. IMF warns Nigeria against more foreign loans. 77 trillion naira debt. IMF warns Nigeria against more foreign loans. Above the masthead, we have you can't find broadcast stations, court says NBC. You can't find broadcast stations, court says NBC. Politicians hijacked water resources bill, federal government. And just before we go, we have other stories on the right-hand side on this column. Our fleets can't cover Nigerian waters, Navy. Dangote $10 Esunupe for Zena Marwa's book launch. Dangote $10 Esunupe for Zena Marwa's book launch. Nigeria loses legal battle against Shell. Let's move over to the to page 3 of leadership, and that is our stand is the editorial slant of the paper today, Thursday, May 11, 2023. New tax policy looking in the wrong places. New tax policy looking in the wrong places. And of course, on the back page, we have the Thursday column with Shuaibu Jimmy left over for Tinubu. For you to find out what is left over for Tinubu, just log on to the website of leadership, www.leadership.ng. And of course, before we go, I forgot to read the Ghana Must Go. It said ACF kicks against Akpabio's choice for Senate President news. And of course, Ghana Must Go replied off the mic. Interesting. Of course, it reminds us of another grilling session that took place in National Assembly, and the senators themselves were shouting off the mic, off the mic.
No, it was even the House of Reps.
And okay, sorry, it was the House of Reps. the NDDC chairman. So from leadership, we move over to other papers. Of course, it's the same similar stories in most all of the papers today. Let's start with this day. This day says Akeredolu APC zoning of NAS leadership skewed, unjust, targeted against some zones individuals. Akeredolu APC zoning of NAS leadership skewed, unjust, targeted against some zones individuals. Are you too surprised coming from the Akeredolu?
I am now, but I also
Okay, that is another is top one we come to that. Aspirants writing 2015 scenario may come into play. Aspirants threaten 2015 scenario may come into play. We are betrayed. Zoning formula won't stand. Iwase insists. Attempt to force leadership will be resisted. Northern group warns. We are making effort to pacify aggrieved contestants. Abbas hints. And we have Daily Sun here. Daily Sun says NAS leadership. APC hints of review as rejection greets zoning arrangements. Daily Sun, NAS leadership, APC hints of review as rejection greets zoning arrangement. We'll look at it again, says Adamu, party chair. Zoning formula reinforces injustice, inequity. Akeredolu is rape of democracy. CSOs, we won't respect arrangement. Speakership G7. And of course, we have the Punch. The Punch says Senate presidency, dissent in APC, aspirants demand fresh zoning formula. The Punch, Senate presidency, dissent in APC, aspirants demand fresh zoning formula. APC zoning creating tension cannot guarantee unity, Izuna so wants. Non-central senators write APC chairman decry zoning exclusion. And of course, the Nation newspaper has similar story. APC pledges revisit of zoning amid lawmakers' protest. APC pledges revisit of zoning amid lawmakers' protests. Adamu pacifies aggrieved aspirants for speaker. More complaints trail recommendation on National Assembly leadership. Akeredolu calls for neck intervention. That's the story making the rounds on today's papers, national papers. Now, back to the leading story that's making the rounds in today's papers. What do you have to say? I think we have not seen the end of it. You know, presently now the president-elect has jetted off to Europe. Obviously, many people say it's just to avoid these ruckus that is generating from his
You just have to keep his air off it in the sense that for me, as political scientist, there is no amount of zoning formula they want to bring out that anybody will be satisfied.
Yes.
If you let it revisit and turn it upside down, the same people will still complain.
Yes.
For
Because you cannot satisfy everybody.
I have a bias analyst, view over veteran insists I want to be speakership. Already, someone from the northeast is vice president, and it's from the northeast. The northwest is giving, although we also have a bias view over Jubin Barrow become the deputy senate president. He's also from the northwest. Meanwhile, Abbas is from the northwest. Maybe if we can review these two stands, then it will be reversed. It will be now be better. Let's say the senate president, definitely the south person must be there. Then let's now say, okay, if we are giving the senate president to the south, maybe somebody from the northwest, northeast can be the senate deputy. It can be. It must be somebody from another zone.
Northern Central.
I'm coming to that. Let's now bring someone from North Central as the deputy senate president. Now the speakership, Northwest are taking it. Now we can now bring somebody from the southeast and replace it. But for Betera should just count himself out of the equation because as long as the vice president is from the northeast and he's one making much of the noise. And again, Wase on his part, he has finished enjoying being a deputy senate president. Why is deputy house of speakership? Why is he so agitant and still want to become a speaker? If you look at this all this calculation, it boils down to personal interest.
Yes, it's always personal interest.
It's personal interest. So for me, if we visit will come, not east or not central, we definitely will have the deputy senate president. Okay. That's what I'm thinking.
So they should, when the revision it has to be done, it should be about the deputy senate president and the
speakership.
So they had to review
They have to review
those
this too, because
positions
that
since
is
they are
where
from the same
exactly from the same zone.
geopolitical
I
zone.
wish they, if they revisit it and okay, let's say if they revisit it and turn it around and make it satisfactory, just like Akeredolu is talking about fairness, justice, and that's where the angle, because not West can have deputy president and also have speakership. They must
Speakership.
leave one for one,
Yes.
and once they leave one for one, it will be okay. But for better for our sake, they should just go and rest. They have been the one even making the noise. And you can see
Yes, definitely.
the strategic input of the president elect. He's not even looking at the side of the members of APC that are elected. He's not talking to opposition party members. He's trying and much to reach out to them,
Yes,
so
tell
that the
everybody.
problem that Wasi and Batara is trying to bring up is to go and use those other groups. But now he's stretching his onion leaves to them that you guys are the ones that they want to use. And that 2015 experience can only be avoided if the opposition can be harmonized in the way of the president elect, whereby the permutation that are put together can work for them. Or else, if they allow the opposition to have their way, Betara and Wasi will go their way and use them against the party.
No, why is Yari's name coming up? Actually, is it not his first time?
Yari is just making noise. He can't even attempt it. He just want to pull
But
it.
his name has been popping up,
And
and of
again,
course we
what-
have his name and the picture. On the
he
cover
has
of the
he has a
leadership.
lot of resources to expand, and what he's fighting for is not even Senate president. He want to be. You remember Oji Zakalu was the majority leader at the first time.
Yes.
I think that's the position he's also looking for. He's not looking for. He knows that he can't get.
They cannot let
Senate
because
president.
that's
But
the
if
rule
he
says
talks
first
about the
timer.
principal position, he will definitely get it, and that's what he's
He
fighting.
wants a high ranking.
Yes, he want to be a high-ranking Senate member because he was former governor. Just like when Uzo Kalu came in, he became a high-ranking.
And it was the same thing with Akpabio.
Akpabio
Akpabio also came in and became
a high-ranking. So that's what Yari is looking for. So
Okay.
all his resources that
not
he put
really
in,
for.
no, he knows that he can't
They
get
cannot
because
get it.
the Northwest definitely will get something bigger than.
You are, I want to agree with you because if not, Oshomo
He would have also thrown his weight in the ring and say, okay,
closeness
to
president
elect. He would have said, okay, let me
Yes.
also. But they know what
would
they
have
are
been
doing.
the ideal.
So for me, if the NWC of the party know what they are doing, they should just review the deputy senate for the president position. I knew why they gave it to the Northwest. It was because Jubrin Barrow was more or less at the forefront of becoming the Senate president. But they now calculate that, okay, instead of you going for the, why don't you just go for the deputy? And they gave it to him. But where they now miscalculate was the speakership.
Yes.
And at the speakership, if they have looked internally, they have brought somebody from the North Center, but not Wasi. Not Wasi from Nigeria. They have brought somebody from the North Center, maybe from Kwara
Yes,
or from Nasarawa, but the or Kogi. But the party chairman doesn't want to feel because he has learned his lesson. That the APC chairman has learned his lesson, doesn't want to be pushing anybody out again. If he wanted to impose his own candidate, he would have brought somebody from his state. And so, okay, let us present. But what he did was to allow, although we know the weight behind Abbas from Governor El-Rufai, and again from the governors from the Northwest, they also play a role in the emergence of Jubrin and Abbas, both speakership and deputy president, because we can't rule out that. And again, we must also remember the role these guys played during the election was quite strategic to APC. And that's why you see that the two positions went to one zone. And the injustice that people are crying is that why would two zones have two big positions? And that is why they are calling for a review.
A review, yes. I think that was given the way you broke everything down, it actually calls for a review because of those two positions.
Exactly.
But not the leading position.
But we must say
the problem now is that there is going to be another group of given the fact that we two of them ready to step down.
Definitely, I foresee by the time they want to do the review, with the input of the president-elect and the outgoing president, definitely the review will be carried out. But what they will now give to these two guys now, I can't really say. But for me, from my own understanding of how it will be played, definitely they may ask the deputy senate president to step down. Because that will be more, if he step down, they can give him a better position. He can take up the position that Yari is trying to fight for. Majority leader. You get it, then they'll bring somebody else and occupy that position. But the speakership,
there will be balance.
they can be balanced. But the speakership, but Betara can't take it. Because already the vice president is from his zone. He can't get it.
Exactly. I'm very sure that's the angle that Akeredolu is looking at.
Yes, it was because of one zone having two
Yes,
positions. That's why
I
they cried
understand
out.
him
But if
calling
for
myself.
the southeast,
Mm,
the southeast position of deputy speakership, it will
yes,
remain. It will
that
remain.
was okay. Yes,
It's not
and it's
so.
because they have to be
Yes,
reflected.
that will be reflected. That one is well justified.
Mm.
But it's not so that it's making the noise that want to become any president that you know it is just going.
Okay, they are looking, he's looking at it from the southeast zone. But of course, do you also buy into it? Because that's been the sentiment, not would like to say sentiment, views of everybody that the southeast has actually occupied that position
No, very
more
far
than
more than any other person. That's
every
why
other person. So that was why.
there was an analytic reflection of that thing in 1999. About four of that person have been
Yes,
occupied that position. So why are you now pushing? What they would have even pushed for is to push for something in the executive at this point in time. SGF that they would have gotten
Okay.
in the first time of President Muhammadu Buhari that they didn't get. It is now they're supposed to be pushing for that.
For
And that is
SGF.
very strategic.
Uh,
SGF is very strategic
it is.
to any government. So
Uh,
they should be looking at that position and see how they can permutate themselves and get it. But from the National Assembly angle, definitely they will also get chairmanship of some juicy position. All these guys that you are seeing, definitely what they will use to compensate them at the end of the day is juicy chairmanship of some committees, and they will get it. And that will be more better for them. But we must look away from all this foundation of individual interest.
yes.
What Nigerians are interested in, just like I said in the sister station yesterday, the two primary functions of National Assembly is making laws and oversight. How have they fared in this? They should not allow this politicization of position to overshadow them. At the end of the day, they will fail to do the right thing when it comes to doing their right work of oversight and making the laws that will require for development.
Thank you so much. That was quite insightful. Now, moving ahead, we have another leading story that is also making the rounds in another paper. Second to is APC to haha, and that is the issue of Nigeria's debt. Blueprint has the leading story on its cover this morning. Let's have Blueprint on our screen. It says Nigeria in trouble, exceeding borrowing limits. That is budget office. Nigeria in trouble, exceeding borrowing limits, budget office. We are pushing towards 100% in debt service ratio. Buhari seeks fresh $800 million loan for 10.2 million households at 5,000 naira each. Of course, I have Daily Trust here. Daily Trust also has similar story. Daily Trust says doubts over Buhari's fresh $800 million loan request. Nigeria fast exceeding borrowing limit, budget office. Total debt hits 77 trillion naira. New request a party gift CDB. No justification to incur debt for incoming government. Use savings from subsidy removal to fund palliatives. Muda Yusuf. And of course, leadership also had it too. 77 trillion naira debt. IMF warns Nigeria against more foreign loans.
Anyway,
Interesting, isn't it?
very well interesting. But at the same time, we must also try as much as possible to make our people understand that it wasn't that the, the new request that the federal government is asking, the 800 billion, we know why they are making that request. It's because of they want to remove subsidy. Now that it has been suspended, now that it has been applied that okay, let the new incoming government decide. Can we also step down this request? Also, if it doesn't, if we have stepped down,
You just have just 2 weeks to go,
yes,
and
yes.
you're still making requests for fresh 800
You
million
remember
dollars.
that when this particular 800 million US dollar came, it was like as if it is a largesse from World Bank,
Yes.
as if it's a free money.
Yes.
Nobody knew that it's going
It's
to be
a
a
loan.
borrowed template kind of money until the request number was not made to National
Okay,
Assembly.
from what you just said, it means that president is just putting 6 fresh loan
Mhm.
for a paper to cover it because the World Bank has already given its approval for the 800.
Definitely, World
Loan
Bank.
facility.
You know why World Bank was like they have been suggesting to us remove subsidy. If you remove subsidy, we will give you this to also help you to do the palliative. At the point that World Bank was suggesting that to the Nigerian government, it was like they have not yet deliberately agreed to go for it. But now that they have deliberately agreed to go for it. But on the other way around, they agreed to go for it, but they're also saying that we are going to leave subsidy for the next government to attempt.
Then why not ask for the loan?
So why not ask for the loan?
But it's be that as it may, I think this subsidy removal, we are beginning to feel it because as we speak, filling stations is gradually fuel is gradually decreasing. We are not getting most filling stations are not open. Like yesterday, some big leading filling stations that you can actually go to, they were closed. So no one could access
Although
filling from those
we can
filling stations.
understand that one as a
So
result of
fortunately, I
distribution
went to
chain.
one. Okay, distribution.
Distribution chain
Okay,
because
I went to one anyway. I didn't see any queue. I don't want to call the name. So as I was buying, I was like, I was puzzled
Mhm.
as to why are there no queue?
Queue.
Because given the fact that some major filling stations had their gates shut, so I was bound to ask because there was no so money on the machine that how much is it by the way? He has already started dispensing fuel. I now told him it's actually 195. I was like, wow, 195 as against 175. I said no, and he before I could even like say yes, that is why you see that there is no queue.
No queue. Exactly. Now we must understand that because of the distribution chain of bringing the fuel all the way from Lagos, especially those ones that are making use of the what they call it, villager depot, that may be having challenge because as of now they are still complaining that villager depot have not received their own product, but before the weekend they will get it. That's what we are hearing. But the issue still remains that removing subsidy has been suspended. We still have this month of May
Then
and
why is
June.
the president, outgoing president, seeking approval to borrow loan? Even Daily Sun has a story. Angry reactions as Buhari writes Senate seeks approval to borrow $800 million from World Bank. You are going, okay, you just said, you just announced to us, okay, happily that we are not going to remove
Remove it, exactly.
until you leaving it for the government. Then why seek for a
I
loan
think
to
they should
cover
just be
it?
able to be suspended. The National Assembly will not definitely work through this kind of
Just
document.
about that, barely
Less
two
than
weeks
2 weeks to
to
go.
go.
So it will all this one too will also be suspended. Just like the thing is coming to the media now. It's not something that although the way I want to see it is that they will not work on it. That's what I want to say. But they will not since as long that the real reason why they want to collect this money
It's
has been
already
suspended,
suspended. You should leave it
definitely
for the incoming
it will be
government
left
to
undone.
handle. Yes.
And even the 10th, it is the 10th assembly that will even handle this particular request.
Yes, yes.
And in the 10th assembly, that means the new government will have to rewrite the National Assembly on it. Because this particular one, as it is now, let's just assume that it won't fly.
But the president asking for loans and all, does he think about the reactions on Nigeria? Because many Nigerians are actually angry over Nigeria's mounting debt.
People are angry because
77 trillion naira.
people are angry because they are not seeing the amount of evidence of what the loan is doing to the economy. I wish, as we are passing through Abuja, as I was complaining about traffic last week, part of that loan addressed the issue of
Yes.
traffic in Abuja. Definitely, nobody will complain. But as it is now, it's like the more we are having the loan, the fewer the things that the loan is doing. And that's why some people will argue that maybe the part of the loan is being used to pay salaries. Because if part of the loan is being used to pay salaries, definitely this is the result of the happy. But I wish that the loan really address issues of developmental phase. Because in actual sense, from the economic sense, loans are to target things that will bring performance in the economy. But here we are in Nigeria, it is just few of those things that we are seeing. Few of the road in terms of Lagos Ibadan road, Kano Abuja road, and rail. What about the remaining part of the money? But we have also been updated that the reason why this debt is increasing is because the interest that we are paying is what is
We are using
increasing
96% of our budget to
increasing the debt
service.
because of what they call the debt servicing. So that's why we're having this huge amount. But because of that, that's why the money is high. But I wish that our debt servicing is not as high as this. Definitely, the debt will not be as much as this. And we also not forget that this 77 trillion they're talking about is added to if you subtract the 22.1 trillion of the means and ways, that means about 46 trillion that we are owing in debt. But don't also forget that debt is not just federal government debt, it is the national debt that includes the 36 state government and the FCT. And if you take away the federal government debt out of it, the federal government debt out of it is not up to 20 trillion because the states are owing. Just last week, the CBN released a document that showed that the debt servicing that each of the states were paying were running into billions monthly. For instance, Lagos State paid 23 billion last month. Rivers State pay about 18 billion, and Delta State and the rest of them, all of them are paying billions in naira as debt service.
These states are taking loans and just as you mentioned, they are not paying them. What are they actually doing with those loans that they are taking?
They also tell you they are
because it's
putting
not
it into
trickling down. It's
infrastructure.
not really trickling down to dividends of democracy for their people.
Definitely, that's what we will see because majority of the states are not viable in
You
terms
see
of
why Nigerians and even the organized, both organized and private sector are so worried because at the end of the day, these loans that are being taken from foreign organizations, they are also being looted.
that's what is happening. But we
And
but one thing I want to enlighten our people is that we should not just put our eyes on the federal government. The states are debt are
that's what
even
I'm
more
saying.
than the federal government.
Exactly.
But nobody is talking about it.
And you
The
have,
state that
and
is owing.
it's one reason when you have active and financially
Incline
inclined states like
state.
Lagos,
Mhm.
Rivers also borrowing money.
But although the Lagos own has been very clear, their debt is not burdensome from them because they are paying and they are doing some things for themselves. Although
Yes.
it is not visible because one of the biggest challenges in Lagos are just two things: traffic
Traffic.
and water.
Yes.
The water distribution in Lagos is so
It's zero.
poor. It's just if they can expand their road network, although they are trying to build the fourth mainland bridge, which they say is going to be, although it's going to be a toll plaza bridge. But we also talk about internal roads, expanding internal roads. Although the way people have built houses in Lagos are so much cumbersome that to expand roads now is going to be difficult because the government is going to pay much in terms of compensation. But they need to do that if they really want to free Lagos from this traffic jam.
Traffic jam.
I think that's one of the reasons that I refuse to go back to Lagos because of the
You were-
traffic
you
jam. I
were-
didn't know
you
that
were
I'm
in
going to
Lagos.
face the same. I was in Lagos for many. I didn't know I'm going to face the same thing in Abuja now, and we're having the same thing.
Situation, yes.
Yes, the same situation because already you're just jam packed. Coming from Berger to this as
Yes,
if alone,
it's
you
jam-packed.
can know how many minutes you
Everywhere,
spend
everywhere.
on the
It's
road.
really
So
frustrating.
the issue is that Lagos, for example, they are in debt. They are number one debt state in Nigeria, followed by Rivers, then Deltas, and the rest of them. And not just and they are all of them spread across the 36 of them, including FCT. FCT is also in debt and is big debt. But what we are trying to say is that in as much as they will be borrowing, but when we want them to borrow is to finance a critical infrastructure. But most of them have now relaxed and such loans they are collecting, they are now using to pay for salaries and all those things. Meanwhile, internally generated revenue, nobody is giving account for what they are generating. And it's a big challenge. So if our focus has been on federal government alone, that means we are missing the point. The state debt is higher than the federal government. And most of these states, the challenge they are having is that very soon industrial action will be taking place because most of them will not be have money to pay salaries
Yes.
again.
That's another issue. You know, the Edo State governor, Godwin Obaseki, did raise alarm over just a few weeks ago that if care is not taken, the federal government will have to print more naira notes, and that generated a lot of flags from the presidency.
Exactly.
That is the Ghana show.
But him on his own, the 18 local government in Edo State, as reviewed by the deputy governor, only make 3 million naira as internal revenue for 1 month. 18 local government.
Only 3 million naira.
3 million naira. Limited. And he was saying that he's going to invite EFCC. What it means is that they are making money, but those money are diverting. So what is the Obaseki doing about that? Now, the state on its own is generating internal revenue. They have modular refinery.
Yes.
I don't know, is it not working?
It's working, but you know that's my will I call it a worry again because the modular refinery is not even servicing
the state.
Yes.
Why I'm raising this issue?
It's not servicing the state.
If he's pointing at using figure at federal government need to pay because what he's trying to say is to pull the blame. And he actually
no,
put
it's
the
not
blame.
actually when he's just raising alarm that with this situation going, just like you pointed at that there will not be money to pay salaries, and that he knows that the federal government will now have to print more money. Have you forgotten? Let me take your mind back years back when he raised the alarm that they were printing more money.
Exactly.
They denied, but at the end of the day, it came out that they were actually.
And why did they print that money? They print that money to augment the federal allocation they were giving to each of the states. Why would federal state be? Everybody will be looking on to federal government for allocation. Meanwhile, they have resources. Even in the Edo State, recently the government introduced one particular law whereby lands were being resold. How much are they making for those lands they are reselling to people, or the one they are taking away from people and reselling? What I'm trying to point out is that the focus of the state has been on the federal allocation. Why can't they look at their internal diversification of their own internal economy? This same Edo State have organized more than 3 economic conferences and conventions. What has come out of those conferences and conventions? What I'm trying to point out is that not just Edo State, all the states including the national state I'm staying. They have organized economic conferences. What have come out of those
With so
economic
many
conferences?
minerals, solid minerals in the
They have
states.
there.
Each
What
of
are
the
they doing?
states, 36 states.
Edo is rich with agricultural fertile land. What are the state government doing? They have transport companies that die in their hand. There are so many things they can use to, but they are not. But the focus has always been on federal government. So when you are telling us that federal government will run into trouble and print money, so what would your own state do to solve the problem of your own state? You are not telling us. So we should just, in as much as we are going to criticize the federal government, we should know that the one finger we are pointing to the federal government, the four of them is on the state. So we must look at it that way, because the solution has to be driven, and it has to be self-driven from each of these subnational government. Because if they focus on federal government alone, like we are expecting now, maybe when the new government come, what about if the new government, as they are suggesting to the new government, that now 80% of government revenue, federal government revenue, should go to the state? So what would they be doing? It's one of the
and apart from
suggestions.
that one too, now you know it has been signed into law that states will be also responsible for their
Energy, power, electricity.
So, what are they going to do about that?
And that will give them money. On a sister station, yes, I raised the issue. It was even the station that is based in Benin. I said it is not opportunity for state government that have been saying this school is doing this, that school is doing this. Now they have given you the law. Who are you going to partner with?
Yes.
Invest with people. And the law also help them and reduce the tension whereby when you generate, you don't need to put it on national grid again. When you generate, you should put it to your people, for your people. So it is not left for them. And there is money in electricity. That's why you see that those companies, those generating companies that are declaring billions after selling darkness to us, you now wonder where did they get the money?
They get the money.
Yeah, where did they get the money?
The banks too are declaring
profit after bringing all manner of charges. So we must be able to tell them that in as much as you want to put the blame on government, very soon federal government will remove his hand from several things. The 66 item in the constitution, he's going to remove his hand. He will only concentrate on 9. Now let us see what the government and the government of state will do, because that's where we are driven to, and that is where most Nigerians will be happy that now that this issue of a federal government having all the power over this, now the state government have been given the power. Let us see what the state
perhaps there should be more awareness on it, because most of the populace don't know that actually, like what we just said, that most of those items are now under concurrent list under state government. So they are the ones to make sure that there is a how do you call it, civic engagement.
Although some of them, they know that they are engaging, like many radio stations are talking about it, but the issue is that when they now come to town hall meeting, the governor will say something else that the people will believe, because we will still be pointing accusing finger at the federal government.
But many people don't know this. They keep pointing at fingers. There was a platform I belonged to, and somebody was showing, look at the bridge in Bayelsa State. Bayelsa State is a bridge that people are using contribute where oil. I said, no, this is a bridge. This is not on the highway or anything, just within the community. So you mean the state government cannot take care of it with 13% derivation, with NDDC, with Ministry of Niger Data Affairs, with amnesty program. I mean,
it's quite unfortunate that we have this kind of thing. And the money is there, but the thing is that, I've always said that on every platform that the recruitment of political position has become so cumbersome that whoever refine you is referring you for that position for a particular interest. So that you come and a payback. Not that in Bayelsa State that you mentioned, not that the local government chairman can't do that, but he's thinking of the people that he's servicing. I have said it on this platform that the moment you are a party member and you occupy a particular position, the party will be expecting you to be doing something for members of that party. From the local government chairman of that party to the ward chairman of that party, you will be servicing them. It will be shocking that some of them are giving them allowances, and they will tell you that if you don't do that, they will not be able to pay their dues. So how would they pay their dues? By giving them contract, by giving them something to rely on, so they will come back and pay their dues. And that's how it has been run in Nigeria. That's why you see that when someone is appointed in a political position, he is overtaken by the element of that political party who will just want him to do the needful because they recommend him for that position.
It's really, really sad. Let's just go on the break. When we come back, we'll discussing our last take, and that is politics on this one.
Leadership TV for God and country.
Inside Nigeria, keeping you informed on what matters.
Welcome back. In case you're just tuning in, the program is Inside Nigeria and it's reaching on leadership and vision. So in the studio, I have a political scientist and also public affairs analyst under the name of Adefola. Thank you so much once again. And I'm really ready for God. Just before we go on today's program, we are looking at this ongoing tribunal on this presidential election, and Daily Sun captures it. Labour Party will be back article on live broadcast of tribunal's proceedings. Court adjourns hearing of his petition as APP withdraws suit. So much being made about the live transmission of the presidential election tribunal. What do you make of it? Will it change anything?
It does. It
Or
will
maybe
just
probably
be-
they feel that it will put the judges on
it doesn't.
on the
I've
lap
said it
or
on this
what?
platform.
On their seats.
It won't change anything. It will just be like normal televised paparazzi that we would normally watch. You know, the American court system also allowed that for the time. When the real judgment to be made, they won't televise anything.
Okay.
And again, when they are doing
Okay, what they are going to give the judgment behind the camera, behind the camera, or is that what you're saying?
by the time they will then now tell you, okay, they are going for this, what they call it, to go for break. By the time they come back, they will tell the media to shut it down. Like, no, that's not something normally say, we are going for executive session. So all the media shut down the camera. That's all. And what the only advantage it will be is that it will be the first time that such magnitude of electoral court case will be defined. But in this case, the faces of the judges will not be shown, but we will see the Rastaman or the Rastaman of the lawyers demonstrating their mastery of grammar, their mastery of quoting laws. We may see all that, but we may not see the faces of the judges. And again, they may also want to streamline the numbers of media houses that will be involved, because they may not want any junky media house to be involved. Especially those paparazzi social media, the NBC doesn't even know where their address is. You know, they will choose the media houses they want to the national one, the well-known traditional media houses they want to choose them, because as it is, it's quite a delicate issue, because they don't want anything that will jeopardize what the judges will be doing and what the court will be doing. But it's a welcome development.
Okay, but however, the APC, they said they will need time to respond to it.
Definitely, no, it's not the APC that is responding to whether they will televise or not. It is the court himself.
They are just
The
PDP
are
and the legal
suggesting
team have already brought the motion forward, supported by Labour Party. So the legal team of APC said they will have to think about it, consider it to see.
No, it's not them.
Whether to object
Not
that
yes, to object or not. But them, even if they object, if the tribunal judges see the reason for it to take place.
But what in the first place, but why would APC want to object to it?
Definitely because it has never happened in our plan. And again, there is no constitutional backing that say that the court is.
But it doesn't take it won't take anything or subtract anything from your own argument.
The issue is even those people that are acting like by the time they'll be calling in their witness, some of the witnesses come up and say they want to show their face on TV. Because that's the wisdom why some people say don't do it. But the other wisdom is and show it to the world. But the thing is that you know one thing about tribunal is that 2019 experience of tribunal have taught me that sometimes all these gymnastics that lawyers normally put across, I don't know, they do water down. Because by the time they bring your witness now, because I remember that 2019 case too. By the time PDP brought their witness, some of their witnesses even refused to appear in court. But the ones that were already presented, especially
but it was not televised like that.
No, I'm just I'm taking it from that angle. Okay. If your witness now say, okay, they don't want their face to be shown on TV, so what would now happen? So they will now cover them with masks.
With masks.
So that means the essence of televising has been defeated. Because the essence of televising is that we want to see who is talking and who is making one good comment or one bad comment. who is quoting the law rightly and who is not quoting the law rightly. But if all of them agree that let it be 25, or let even say the APC agree that let it be 21, the judges say no, it is not something that our constitution allows. It has been defeated. But we just hope that if it comes in, that means we will always allow it. Then it means that the 2021.
And for what you just mentioned, for what you just said, what I think for is also a security as somebody for the witness. Because just like what you said, somebody will not want to come and televise. They don't want to be seen to be on this person's side. And it could result to anything. Nigeria, you know how election.
Exactly. And apart from that, maybe if it is not agreed that you are going to rework my electoral act that will not showcase that any electoral case that will go to court. So a clause will not be created in the review of that electoral act, and it will be put there. Then if such now happen that Supreme Court cases is also taking place, then we have to work on the constitution also. Okay. So anytime result or a case of election goes to the Supreme Court, it should be televised. Either if the Senate, whatever level, so we have to work on our law that will allow, because where it will have issue is that if it is not supported by law, definitely law.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your presence in today's Insight. This will come to the end of today's program Insight. Don't forget, sign up tomorrow is the last edition for the week. So do keep a date with us. I am waiting for you for Nicola.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.